Welcome back to Little Side Note with Win and
Maya.
so today's topic we are going to talk about something a little bit popular as well at the moment. It's about the lion in Cambo, which is what we see it as is basically animal abuse.
Yeah.
So for those who actually don't know what's going on with the news, the news. So basically, a few days ago, there was this reporter. I think he was Swedish. I think he like kind of flagged the authorities, saying that there was a Chinese guy that is has a pet lion at home. And you know how like it's illegal anywhere to own wild animals because of illegal wildlife trading. So the controversy is, I see that people are like 50% divided because people are saying that he was a good owner and putting him into Phnom Tamal sanctuary is a cruel thing because you know how they don't have enough food for animals and stuff like that. So what do you think?
So I didn't know that there were like 50-50 because from what I've seen on my Facebook feed, which is like maybe only a few posts, a lot of people were like in support of this dude, like oh, he was doing a good thing, he's taking care of the animal. And what bothered me was everyone's like, yeah, he's taking good care of the animal, he removed all the teeth or something, like all the sharp teeth from the animal just to be safe,
and the claws as well.
Yeah, and the claws too. But at the same time, isn't it really like if you look at it from a perspective of him removing what was like originally there and wasn't technically harming people yet, or I know it's possible threat, isn't it animal abuse? Yeah.
I mean, people are justifying saying that because the animal is not aggressive, but people don't like. I think a lot of people have this misconception of because the lion's big now, is an adult. When in actual reality is like 1 year old, which is literally a cub still. And that is why it hasn't shown aggressive behaviors yet.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I've also seen people saying that because the lion is already used to living with people, and now that he can't go into the zoo or the wildlife because he wouldn't survive. And so he should be brought home. But like isn't that the point why we shouldn't have like wild animals be pets, because of eventually they can't like hunt for their own, you know.
It becomes domesticated.
Yeah.
I don't know why Madagascar comes to my mind. Like I barely remember the movie. I watched it when I was younger, but I know that because of all the memes later on, I realized, oh wait, that was animal captivity, and then they became domesticated and they can't hunt for themselves. They try to go back to the zoo because they can't do shit, and they realized it.
Like people don't know that it's cruel to take away like so people oh my god, I keep saying people don't know. People actually do know, it's just they're like ignorant of it. We don't actually know where the Chinese guy even got the lion from. Like how did it even pass immigration? Right?
That's true. Oh my gosh. Conspiracy.
And we know that in order to have a lion as a pet, it's not something you can just pick out from like pet stores, right?
Yeah.
It has to be some type of sus process. Illegally trading.
Sus. That is quite, I don't want to be racist, but there's always this thing where like, Chinese does a lot of shady illegal stuff too. So I'm like,
I don't know if you've seen that post, but the Chinese guy posted a status and added videos of him saying that, oh, the lion is his family, so if you take him away, of course it's gonna hurt and stuff like that. And the most pissed off thing is that he's posting a picture of him giving bread pockets to poor people. Like, what does that have to do with the actual situation? Like, he's setting it up to make it seem like he's a good guy, you know? And people
Yeah.
are taking that bait. Like, it's
Oh my
totally
gosh.
irrelevant to whatever's happening with the lion.
Dude, like, I don't want to. I sound very biased, but most of this is not shocking to me from Campbell people. I'm not gonna lie. They, like, they would see stuff online and they would assume that everything is there. Of course, everyone is. They have their own opinions, but for most Campbell people, they don't stop and think. Is this believable? Is there facts or like anything that can prove that what they're saying is correct? So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard. Yeah.
I've seen people arguing that the reason why the lion should be with the owner is because our zoo is not taking care of the animals enough. Like,
Yeah.
yes,
Not
that's
giving
true.
enough food, not enough meat from what I
Right.
saw.
That's
Yeah.
true, but I think if the owner kind of like really loves their lion, I'm pretty sure the zoo would appreciate it if he donated some amount of money. And for the people who's complaining that the zoo is like bad, like they could also be someone who can donate to the zoo, you know, to improve the zoo.
I was gonna say he can actually offer to be the caretaker
Yeah.
of that zoo too.
Yeah.
So technically he'll still be taking care of it. It's just it's not living with him and not being a threat in his home and his community. Whereas it's just in a sanctuary where it has space to run around too, from what I saw. And it's in
And
the
it's-
wild and it's trying adapting.
Yeah, and it's closer to its natural habitat than staying inside a apartment or a villa or a mansion, you know.
True.
And this boils me so much. I've seen
What?
people compare the lion to dogs.
Low-key, yeah, to be honest, I get that sense too. I haven't seen too many articles, but from what I saw, it sounded like people were empathizing it as though the lion is a dog.
Yeah, like the evolution of dogs is it's evolved from
From a wolf.
wolves, right?
Yeah.
So wolves, we can't have wolves because it's a
Yeah.
wild animal. But it's been
Yeah.
breeded. Dogs are being breeded to be domesticated animals. That's why it's okay to have dogs, right? People are saying that I think you know pit bulls, right? They're like bred to
Yeah.
fight,
Yeah.
but that's on the owner, right? And there is a domesticated lion type thing, which is a cat. Like you can get a cat.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
can get a cat.
Yeah.
So
You don't know, you know? It's like, I don't know. I know people are entitled to what they like, but that entitlement also limits you from harming others and being a threat to others.
and like if he was a zoologist,
Yeah.
it would have been a different thing.
Because in a sense, he's studying for data and then
Yeah.
he's researching. And I guess in a sense, he would be researching to know what is the line. He's trying to find the line where you should not cross.
And he's also qualified to take care of that lion because he knows the nature of a lion, basically.
Yeah.
Like we've seen videos of wild animals like monkeys and gorillas that are being put into a sanctuary and they have close relationship with humans. Well, it's because those humans have learned about that animal. They literally
Mm.
have a degree in zoology to do that.
Yeah. I haven't researched about the dude though. Like, why is he in Cambo? Do you know?
I don't know.
Like, okay, this is like very, 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 very pessimistic. But my Chinese teacher has this theory that most like Chinese immigrants in Cambo specifically are people who are running away from debt, and that's why you have this bad perception of of Chinese people in Cambo. Like, you know, oh, that's like you say you're
Yeah,
that Chinese, and then you know
yeah.
that you're referring to a bad thing. Yeah, it's because the Chinese that comes here are the ones that cannot make it in their country and are flat out broke, and they're trying to find new opportunities here while still continue being crooked because, you know, corrupt.
Yeah.
We are corrupt here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and China is kind of trying to standardize themselves a lot more, so it's harder to do crooked stuff there.
And so recently I've seen people are sending death threats to the reporter that
What?
flagged the authority. He said that the people who are supporting the Chinese guy are sending death threats of like, why would you do that? Like, the lion was pretty happy in his home. Why would you take away their family? Why are you trying to break apart their family? And like okay, being angry is one thing. Sending
Yeah.
death threats is not the way to go. And in a sense you're showing other people as well that our country is like this. If we don't like something, we send death threats.
True. But, the death threats is a little too far. I'm not gonna lie. This sounds like some ridiculous stuff where, okay, you know I'm a fan of like all those K-dramas and stuff, but you don't see me going the extra length of chasing and stalking the actors themselves and giving them gifts or like anything like that. I mean, yeah, gifts are fine, but sometimes gifts goes far beyond like, oh, spy cameras and stuff in the gifts. Like, there's a line where you should not be too obsessed with it. You can offer support, but in a way that does not harm others. Giving death threats will not do anything. Like, think about it. If you're that person, will you be happy to receive death threat when you're actually trying to look out for other people's safety? And in your perspective, do you want to be the kind of person who offer death threats to people? But how are you the judge to say that person deserves to die or not?
Yeah. And it's not like they're trying to criticize the reporter either, because that's not criticizing. You know, like, yeah, maybe you're angry at him for ripping a family apart, but he's just doing his job at the end of the day. You know, like, if you allow one person to have a lion, how about the next person who wants a lion?
Yeah,
Like,
true.
people are saying, oh, maybe this is the exception of where, like, oh, because they're family, then we should let them go. Like, this one case can be an exception. So then, like, in the future, how many more exceptions should we give out? Like, what is the criteria of having that, like, exception? People could just like breed and then say that, oh, it's our pets, like, these are our families, you know.
It's funny because, okay, I don't know if my facts are right, but I feel like there was something in law that states that if, in a sense that, like, oh, if a similar court situation was granted, like, oh, they allow it, then the next court, they can use this as reference as a law.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it is like what you're saying, like, imagine you're giving one exception and then suddenly everyone's asking for that exception now.
Yeah.
Because it was done before, so what's stopping it from doing it now?
Yeah.
If you say no, the second person would say, what makes the first one so special? I have exactly the same condition as them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a tough thing about rules.
So that's why I like it. Like, it's not just Campbell that is saying that it's illegal to own a wild animal. It's literally everywhere else.
Yeah.
Everywhere else. It's not just us. But for some reason, it's us that are like on the Chinese dude side, you know.
I think we're not necessarily on a Chinese dude side. It's just, well, no, you know, like
Yeah.
people are just, they just want to get themselves noticed in a sense. So,
I think I'm generalizing, but I think a lot of Campbell people like tear-jerking stories.
yeah, they
Like-
do. It's very dramatic here. I'm not gonna lie about that.
Okay, we're gonna get shit on so much.
Yeah, I mean, we were starting this. We were asking to get shit on from the start, dude. Let's be honest.
Joseph Kath has also explained that why it's wrong to own wild animals because wildlife trading illegally. And I have a question for those people who says that they are supporting the Chinese dude and is a animal lover. How about Safari World? They're literally abusing animals so that animals can perform. You know those shows where lions are like obeying
like dolphins
people.
performing tricks for treats.
Yeah, they're literally being abused to be like obedient.
But of course the world is not perfect and it's totally biased. They're like, I get my entertainment, so fuck off.
Yeah, like if you want
There's a
to
lot
be
of
mad
twisted stuff.
at the zoo, then everyone should collectively come up with something that would help.
Yeah, but I think it's hard to find a solution that will satisfy everyone.
Definitely.
Speaking of this, I don't know if you saw the post. I think one of my friends shared it. Like right after that animal, that lion thing, I saw a post about people interbreeding dogs, and then after they cannot breed them anymore, they throw them out to the gutter and fend for themselves. And they showed pictures of the dogs being like barely surviving in a shitty place full with dirt and a mess. So I'm like, yeah, like when you adopt your animals, make sure you do thorough background checks when not like people who interbreed just for money.
Yeah. And you know pugs, right?
Yeah.
They're genetically deformed, which means that you shouldn't buy pugs anymore because they're being bred to like die basically. They're not healthy. They're not healthy animals. And
the French bulldogs, right?
No, it's a pug.
Can you show me an image?
The one you have on your profile picture, the one on the Netflix show you watched.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got
I know
you.
I know it's like ugly cute, but like people should really stop buying pugs.
I watched this YouTuber, her name is Stephanie Sue, and she has two, I don't know if they're pugs or French bulldogs, but I think it's French bulldogs. But she said it herself that she's aware that everyone knows that this breed is very prone to sickness and they don't really live as long. Like she does appreciate them. It's just like I was watching her for the past 2 years now. Just looking through what she had to go through when the dog got like they need to go surgery or reactions to food, or it's just them growing old. I feel really bad for the dogs that they have to live through this like kind of miserable life. I'm going totally off topic here, but it's like, okay, I need to ask you something. Between suffering and dying, which one would you choose?
Dying.
Yeah, exactly. So this is gonna span out so much. This is why I am not against abortion. I'm for abortion. because
Definitely,
if you are a person who's not ready to have a child,
Mm.
like we are already an example. Like I question if our parents were ready to have a child,
Yeah.
and will you be able to handle their behavior, them defying you, and being more on top of that, supporting them to the fullest extent that you wish you had.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no right answer in parenting, I'm aware,
Yeah.
but like if you can't even afford the basic necessities, or
Mm-hmm.
you're not sure, why would you bring in another life to cause more havoc and more pain and leave more mental scars?
Yeah. Definitely.
Mm.
It's easier to it's just the same thing as how some people who are so sick and they have
Yeah.
either the choice to stop, like pull the plug and stop all life supporting things.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically the same as that. Would you
Okay,
want to let them suffer or just die?
Okay, this is fucked up. It is fucked up. But I remembered like one of the MasterChef Cambodia, one of the chef,
Mm-hmm.
I think he had something. He had
Cancer,
either
I think, right?
oh yeah, cancer, I guess. Yeah, I was thinking cancer, but I feel like I'm wrong. But yeah, he had cancer, and then like he was on life support,
Mm-hmm.
and then the funny thing was, they prolonged how long he needed to stay on life
Mhm.
support, just so that when he passes away, it's on an auspicious time and date. Which I find a little bit ridiculous, but at the same time, he's not suffering technically.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude. Like I don't know about you, but I cannot say that I fully believe in those mumbo jumbo stuff. But at a certain extent, I do believe in them.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't want to accidentally go to hell.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like we're living our lives to, like, somewhat the fullest at the moment, where we're not crossing too many boundaries, but making sure that we're safe, we're not harming anyone in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest people to research more about what's happening with, like, don't think with your heart. Like, we feel bad for the lion, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel so bad for the lion. I just don't feel bad for the owner.
This comes back to my favorite phrase: feelings are not logical. So, what can you do? Of course you feel bad for them, but which one would you choose? Logic or emotion? Which most of the time emotion is not rational.
Yeah.
And then you just get yourself caught up in a lot of mess.
And like, it would have been like a lot better if he didn't even have a lion to begin with.
Yeah, like that line, I know, like, it's cruel to imagine it going through the food chain, possibly not living to this extent.
But it's natural.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I wanted to talk about that too. Like, I remember, like, when I came to Australia, when you go to US, right, they have to check in customs of what you're bringing inside.
Yeah.
The reason why we can't bring a certain type of plant or a certain type of meat, because it's gonna ruin the ecosystem. And I don't think I don't know what breed that lion is. But what if you're bringing a different breed of lion or different breed of wild animal to live in an ecosystem? It's gonna destroy an ecosystem.
True. Oh, I didn't think about it that far, but yeah, that's a good point to point out.
Yeah.
Interesting. I know that I was always wondering why they prohibited soil, because at one point one of my friends had to bring soil for an experiment, and then it was like a small pot, like very small, and then he got caught at customs saying that, why are you bringing this? Is it illegal? Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Like, imagine breeding one plant and it produces seeds and then it'll just spread all over the ecosystem.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fair.
And then some other plants die, and then
Yeah.
some other animals die,
Yeah.
and then some other animals could get extinct. You know, like
Mm.
it's more of cons than pro.
Mm.
Like I actually don't see the pro in this situation. Like what?
Mm.
You feel happy because you have a lion, like that's it. Like it's such a selfish thing to do.
I think he just empathizes with the lion as a person or a personal pet. Like he doesn't think of it. Like okay, this another thing. It reminds me of what Lion King? Not Lion King.
Tiger King.
Tiger King. Yeah, Tiger King. I didn't finish the entire thing because it was so much white trash.
Yeah.
But like the concept was somewhat similar. He had passion,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I think he did take care of them in a sense of a zoo
Mm.
instead of
Mm.
a like domesticated way.
Yeah, but it's still pretty fucked up. That's why there was a whole documentary about it. Like even if you have passion and you're taking care of that lion, it's very very cruel for them to be like in a cage. Like okay, I can understand if you're bringing a lion or a tiger and it's hurt and you want to
Yeah.
intervene to stop them
Yeah.
like from dying.
Mm.
But like kidnapping them and putting them in a cage, trying to sell them off, stuff like that is not. It's not the way to go.
Mm. Guess it kind of goes back to authorities trying to draw a line, but at the same time, you're like, okay, this is like I know, like diplomacy and like you need to be able to vote, the majority wins and all that stuff, but sometimes people are dumb to know what's good for them.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I'm bringing up another controversial topic. Like, why would you be an anti-masker when they're literally trying to save your life? You
Yeah.
have one tiny inconvenience of shortness of breath in the mask. Sir, that is not gonna kill you. Imagine the inconvenience you had to go through when you had to hunt for meat before you had it in
Yeah.
the freezer before a human
It's-
evolution. Jesus.
It's all because of self entitlement and privilege.
I've lost hope in the humankind.
Yeah, I know. Like COVID brought the worst of people.
To me, sometimes I feel like we overcomplicate so much just to have order.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes I wish that I was born in like the 1500s or something. At least then they didn't have so much rules, so much regulations. Nowadays I probably crossed over some like minor laws without even noticing it or even knowing that it existed until I go to court and then they pointed out to me, you know how crazy that is? We living our own lives, yet we don't know what is the line that we should not cross. We only know like the basic stuff that you should not harm others, you should not harm yourself, you should not give to others. But what are the other small inconveniences that they have thought through because of these like rules and regulations that are so intricate and detailed? Like there's so many, dude.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, we can't really live without law because there's always people who's trying to find a loophole. And I think a lot of reason why there's a lot of laws because people keep trying to find loopholes.
Yeah, true. See, smart people, stop finding loopholes. Just don't make the dumb people's lives more complicated. I barely understand what I need to follow. Please, slow down. Too much. I don't
Yeah.
want to be in Gen Z, but apparently I am born in Gen Z. There's too much content. There's too many rules. Too many stuff. Slow down.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I actually don't resonate with Gen Z. I think it's because we're like a cusp of millennial and Gen Z.
I think it's because we're in a developing country, and when other people started Gen Z, we were like midway through
Okay.
millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the age of CDs lasted longer in our country than in like, for instance, the Western country like the US. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we should probably wrap it up. So thank you for listening to
Mm-hmm.
our podcast today. I'm sorry we went really off topic, but it was just such an interesting event that happened.
Interesting event.
And we wanted to discuss about it. Yeah. And I'm sorry if my Bitmoji is like twitching a lot with the eyes. It's not the Bitmoji. I'm just extremely tired filming this. I'm barely opening my eyes.
And yeah, definitely,
So yeah.
you should get our message by now. Like, we encourage you to research what's actually going on, rather than feel whatever's happening, because I'm pretty sure that you're being baited.
Yeah. Collect bait.
Yeah.
Collect bait.
So
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us, follow us on Instagram. It's Little Side Note Podcast. YouTube and Facebook is Little Side Note the podcast. Our email is littlesidenote@gmail.com. You can email us anything, and we also have Spotify, which is Little Side Note the podcast as well. And as always, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.